Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at MyFxBook results. And if you're not familiar with MyFxBook, it is an awesome website. It's been around forever in the forex world, and it allows you to track your trading performance on an automated journal. It is an absolutely awesome free tool out there, and no, they're not sponsoring this video. I just love them. I've used them forever to track my trading, and it's been absolutely a game changer just to be able to see sort of the strengths and weaknesses of my own trading performance. So in this video, we are going to be going through some of my own trading performance. And first of all, I'll tell you why I'm going to do that. Not a lot of traders out there on social media will try and do this. I have a lot of respect for people who do it, because just from between you and me as a content creator, it's a lot of stress to sort of show track records publicly, because when things are going poorly, you know, you get a lot of naysayers and stuff. It is psychologically, it's tough. It's tough enough trading on your own, don't get me wrong. Putting it out there is scary, and I understand why not everybody does it. However, just out of absolute, respect for my audience, I share my MyFxBook publicly for this reason, just for trying to stay transparent and just to show that I really do trade. And I've been doing this for a number of years. I take it very seriously. It's something that I've, dedicated, my career to. So my goal with this video is to show some transparency and give you guys insight into someone who's been trading for a number of years. This is sort of my results going back from, on this particular account, from late 2020 up until now. So this is a multiple year track record of my own performance. And let's go ahead and dive into some of the numbers. First of all, what do I trade? I trade a number of things. This account specifically, I focus a lot on indices, forex, and a little bit of gold. So a little bit of everything on this account. Overall, a trend following approach that I work through within my private group. And these are also trade signals that I share inside of my VIP group. This is a reflection of the trades that I have taken there over the last several years. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to let you know that if you're not already in our free Discord channel, we have a place where traders from all around the world come together, they collaborate, and you can get free ideas from our team of trading analysts every single day. Get trade ideas, free PDFs that could be helpful in your trading, and so much more. The link will be down below in the description to sign up. Just submit that form to help us avoid scammers or spammers joining the Discord, and we'll see you inside. So with that said, let's dive into some of the stats. Okay, so first of all, we have this corner right here. And in this section, what you'll see is the overall gain on this account, which is just shy of 80% here, and an absolute gain of 49.52. And right off the bat, you might say, well, Nick, why is that lower than the other? Well, it's because I've actually added money to this account. Over time, I've made some small deposits over time, just propping up the account to allow me. At some point, I added some so that I could trade some of the US indices without having such a small balance in it. This account primarily acts as a tracking account. I don't do my heavy trading in terms of monetary size. I reserve that for regulated forex brokers, as well as my my Webull account, where I trade most of my indices in gold and stuff like that. But regardless, this is meant to be just sort of a tracking account where I focus most of my performance and stuff like that. So 79.94%, just under 80% in a couple of years. I know that's not super amazing, depending on who you ask, but to me, I would say this is a pretty steady Eddie number. After a number of years at this, I can tell you that people who try and go for big returns quickly end up usually losing a lot of money, or their account just goes to zero at some point or another, even if it looks good for a while. So for me, these are good numbers. And, I'm a conservative trader. I'm not out here trying to swing my account by 100% per month or anything like that. I don't have any need to. I have capital at my disposal, so I'm able to sort of just basically make small percentage gains per month, and that's more than enough for me on what I need. So anyways, let's go through it. So overall, about 50% absolute gain and 80% on actual gain. So this is all in. This is really the number. So monthly, that comes out to about 2.18% per month, which I know is not that impressive, but for a slow and steady approach, I would say that that's pretty reasonable. I did have a max drawdown of 19.36%. And again, this is also why I like to risk small, because drawdowns are going to happen. And you can actually see it on the chart where I had a pretty significant drawdown, went from up 54% all the way up only to about 30%. That's a pretty significant drop from peak to trough here. You can kind of see where I had just a sort of a lengthy losing streak, and it was all on, you know, my track record, those post up publicly. And guys, can I just tell you, during this time, the amount of grief that I got on social media, people were trashing me left, right, and center. And I'm not gonna lie, that is why I think it's you know, a lot of traders really struggle to ever put a MyFxBook out there. A lot of people talk about, you know, oh, you just can't trade. Well, you know, it is sort of that. That's why a lot of people probably don't show MyFxBook. That's probably, you know, the real ones can do it, and they'll put it out there for people to look at. But I will say, it comes at a hefty cost psychologically to have a lot of people looking at your trading, because when you're trading poorly and everyone sees it, whew, man, I'm telling you, that was a tough time in my life, because I've gone through drawdowns for years, but doing it in the public eye, that is on a different level, kind of intense. Anyways, we'll keep going. And we can go through this and we can kind of see where we're at. So this is some of the trading stats, and I can show you, I've had 360 trades on this. That's a pretty good sample size. That's a lot of entries, a lot of exits, a lot of trailing stops, a lot of break-even trades, winners, losers, all that. We'll take a look at my win rate here, and if we zoom in, you can actually see I've won 159 out of 360 trades, which means I've actually taken slightly more losers on my trading than winners. And that is weird to maybe some of the newer traders out there, but what I tend to do, and it'll make more sense in a second, I tend to let winners run. And you can see that down here, that the average win does tend to outpace the average loss, which would explain why overall there is an upward growth. Yes, I'm about 50-50 on win rate, but the wins tend to outpace the losses. Now we'll keep going. You can take a look. I've got about 43% win rate on the long side and a 45% win rate on the short side. Notably, I've been more long biased on things than I have on shorts, which is kind of interesting. And now we can scroll down, we can take a look at some of the month by month performance. So in 2020, I've gone over this many times. This was actually the elections time in the United States. And I remember during this time, what contributed such an amazing 1 month span was actually a couple of trades on the NASDAQ that I took on the long side. Right as the presidential elections were going on, there were some absolutely monstrous trends that took place in the market, and followed into 2021, where I had an incredible month in January, really solid month a couple months later in May, and a really big September month. And most of these were just some monster trends that occurred on things like gold, the indices at one point, some of my euro trades, the Australian dollar trade. I had a number of, I think that must have been in 2021 or 2022. I'm losing track. A huge downtrend on the Aussie dollar that ended up being a massive profit. You know, I can think on my, you know, on the top of my head, a couple of trades which contributed massively to this account. If you're familiar with my trading style, you know that I like to trail stops. And what that means is that I might enter into a position with a stop loss. And if market moves in my favor and I'm able to just trail stops, but the market keeps going and I can trail stops again, the market keeps going, I can trail stops again, the market keeps going, I can trail stops again, you get the point. Occasionally, I catch what I would like to call super trends or super moves in the market. And they don't happen very often, but when they do, they're very notable, very memorable. And, you know, in my trading results, you can kind of see it where there's like spikes in singular months that were just absolutely fantastic due to a strong trend that occurred in the market. Now, I will add something to this. I've been doing updates on this account for years now, literally. I've been sharing the results publicly on MyFxBook, and I've since 2022 scaled down the risk size on this account tremendously. In 2021 and 2020, I was sort of more aggressive in my approach. And then I told you guys I deposited some more money so that the drawdowns wouldn't be so extreme after I had that 19% drawdown, which I've been public about, that was admittedly more than I had anticipated. My goal was to have nothing more than like a 15% drawdown. So when it topped up nearly 20%, I was like, okay, hey, you know what? Let's scale this down. This is meant to be a slow and steady approach, not any sort of, pushing 20% drawdown. Will that happen? Hey, it still might. This is why I always talk about small position sizes, because sometimes you just get some terrible losing streaks when, especially you're using stop losses and trying to trail stops. You run into pretty bad losing streaks every once in a while. 2022 was a good year overall, several trends. This past year was not, I didn't make very much from the indices trading. Most of this results were from the dollar trade, which I consistently talked about on my live streams last year if you were watching regularly. Then a lot of the action that we caught last year was off of US dollar moves. A lot of euro dollar trades to the downside. We had several dollar trades that ended up being very strong for this account during this time. 2023 so far just started back on the indices. We've been trading the indices a lot recently, so I can kind of just testify off the top of my head where a lot of these trades have come from over time, and that's a look at the results so far. And again, point of doing this is to stay transparent, just to show, real trading, no nonsense. I'm not out here saying people are going to get rich quick by any means. This stuff is difficult, and this is years into my trading journey I'm able to produce these results. Which brings me to my next question. Are these results any good? Are these returns even impressive? It's going to depend heavily on who you ask. When I've done these videos in the past, you get two camps. You get the people who are positive about it and the people who are very negative about my results. And it's a pretty polarizing topic, returns, because what ends up happening is people who have, generally speaking, been in the game longer, they know how tough this stuff is, and they tend to look at results like this optimistically, and they say, hey, you know what? This stuff is difficult. If you're producing consistent results at all, that's great. But then there are also usually comments on these sort of videos where people are very negative, where they say, hey, 2% a month is terrible, Nick. You should just quit and go do garage sales. I don't know, right? But here's the thing. I've mentioned early on this video that for me and my trading size, 2% a month is fantastic. If I can make 2% on the capital that I have overall, which is in the several hundreds of thousands of dollars that I'm managing, it's topping into the millions. That amount of money, 2% per month, if I could do that, is fantastic. So it's all about, relatively speaking, what you're working with. So my point with talking about that is that it depends who you ask, and it depends where you're at. Some people are more risk tolerant than I am, and I'm a pretty conservative trader and a pretty conservative person even in my own business. I run a software company. I do like to take risk, but only a calculated amount. I don't like to throw risk on the table, all in, anything like that. That's not who I am. I'm a conservative risk taker, and I think that has served me well in my life and in my trading as well. Being conservative in trading actually tends to be the way to go, I think, because most people who, throw it all out there and go all in on stuff, they tend to blow up at some point or another. So it depends who you ask. I am very happy with this result. And at the end of the day, whether you agree with me or not, here's the thing. Genuinely, in the nicest way I can say it, I don't really care. Because to me, this is great. And this is all I need, and this is what I want out of trading. You have to ask yourself, what do you want out of trading? Do you want to try and go for 10% a month? Great. If you want to go for 10% a month, accept that your drawdown may largely exceed mine unless you're just a significantly better trader than me, which, hey, you might be. And to that, avail, I wish you the best in your trading. But at the end of the day, we all use the markets in the way that we want to. And for me, I am all about slow, steady, compounding gains. I don't care to be the best in the world. I care to use the markets for what I believe they're intended for. Growing wealth over time and slowly growing and compounding, money that you work for, so that at some point you're sitting on enough of it that you don't have to think about money. That's kind of the goal. And, why I initially started trading, it's not what kept me in trading. What kept me in trading is a passion for this stuff. I absolutely love markets, and they fascinate me, and it's a never-ending puzzle to solve. Thank you guys for your loyalty, your support. You guys are an awesome community on YouTube here, and I really appreciate you watching to the end. If you made it to the end, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And one last thing I will say is if you'd like to see these trades in action, you can join our private Discord channel, which will be linked down below in the description. Yes, this is a signal service. No, it is not going to make you get rich quick, but it is based on the trades that you see here, backed by third-party results, no nonsense, no BS, just real trading. If you'd like to join the Discord, the link is down below in the description. I hope to see some of you guys inside, and have a great day.